In case you haven't been following the news, there's been a lot of talks lately about a potential war between Ukraine and Russia. And while that might seem like something that's far away and not our problem, it turns out that Twitter may have played a role in escalating the situation. Elon Musk is helping Ukraine in its war with Twitter, and has created a poll on Twitter asking his millions of followers if they think Ukraine should be given weapons to defend itself. While he didn't explicitly say which way he was leaning, it's pretty clear that he's in favor of Ukraine taking military action. Now, it's worth noting that Musk is no stranger to Twitter controversy, but given his influence and the fact that he has close ties to Ukraine, he has an electric car factory there, his words carry a lot of weight. And while it's still early days, Musk's tweet could help to escalate the situation even further. You are watching Elon Dot Musk, and if you like what you are about to see, please smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, or leave something in the comments. On October 3, Musk laid out his terms for immediate peace between Kyiv and Moscow. He asked for a redo of the elections Russia orchestrated in the 4 regions it annexed in eastern Ukraine, this time under UN supervision. He also asked for Crimea to be formally recognized as part of Russia. Additionally, he asked for Ukraine to remain neutral in the future instead of joining NATO. Musk put over 108 million followers to the test by putting their opinions on his ideas. The president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelenskyy, was not happy about the situation. Zelenskyy began his survey on Twitter, in which he posed the question to his followers as to which version of Musk they preferred, the one that favors Russia or the one that supports Ukraine. Andriy Melnik, the Ukrainian ambassador to Germany, was less diplomatic in his response to Musk, asking him to fuck off. In regards to the Starlink system, a representative for the Pentagon stated that the government has been in touch with SpaceX. More than 150,000 ground stations in Ukraine now have access to broadband internet thanks to Elon Musk's Starlink system, which is comprised of more than 2,200 low-orbiting satellites. Musk stated early on that providing support for Ukraine's communications was costing SpaceX $20 million each month. CNN was the first news outlet to report on the request made by Musk. It is impossible to stress how important the Starlink satellite internet is to Ukraine's defense operations. According to documentation that CNN was able to get, Elon Musk's SpaceX issued a letter to the Pentagon claiming that it was unable to continue funding the Starlink service in the same manner as it had been. The letter also requested that the Pentagon take over funding for Ukraine's government and military use of Starlink, which SpaceX claims would cost more than $120 million for the rest of the year and could cost close to $400 million in the following 12 months. The request was made in response to the fact that SpaceX claims the program would cost more than $120 million for the rest of the year. Musk tweeted on Friday that the operation has cost SpaceX $80 million and likely will reach $100 million by the end of the year. So far, about 20,000 Starlink satellite systems have been donated to Ukraine. The records, which have not been reported on in the past, reveal a rare breakdown of SpaceX's internal data on Starlink. They explain the expenditures and payments that are related to the thousands of terminals that are located in Ukraine. They also shed new light on behind-the-scenes agreements that have delivered communications hardware and services worth millions of dollars to Ukraine at minimal cost to Kyiv. These negotiations have taken place in recent years. Among the documents that SpaceX sent to the Pentagon and that CNN was able to see was a previously unreported direct request made to Musk in July by the commanding general of the Ukrainian military, General Valery Zelenskyy, for almost 8,000 more Starlink terminals. This request was included in the documents that SpaceX sent to the Pentagon. Immediately following the commencement of the invasion, Elon Musk made Starlink accessible to users in Ukraine. There have been around 15,000 deliveries to the country of dish and router combinations manufactured by Starlink. Chris Hall asserts that Starlink has kept things going like public services and government, and this assertion is supported by evidence. There is currently no known method for the Russians to disable it. On the battlefield, it was also employed at one point. According to Dr. Marina Miron, a scholar in the field of defense studies at King's College London, Ukrainian forces are utilizing it to communicate, namely between headquarters and troops operating in the field. It takes only 15 minutes to set up the equipment, and its transmissions cannot be disrupted in the same way that regular radio signals can be. Elon Musk dismissed a story that he had a direct conversation with Vladimir Putin by responding to a tweet with his denial. When asked if the statement made by Ian Bremmer was accurate, he responded with the following text, "No, it is not. I have only spoken to Putin once, and that conversation took place approximately 18 months ago. The topic that was being discussed was space." After then, Bremmer restated his previous statements, which he had initially made to the subscribers of his newsletter published by the Eurasia Group. Along the same lines as Musk, he took to Twitter. Elon Musk told me that he had a direct conversation regarding Ukraine with both Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin. In addition, he explained to me what the Kremlin considers to be an absolute red line, Bremmer wrote. According to Bremmer, he has been producing his weekly email about geopolitics for the past 24 years. He claims that he writes it honestly without fear or favor, and that his most recent update is no exception. He continued by saying, "I've mentioned it publicly before, but I've admired Musk for a long time as a singular and world-changing entrepreneur. He is hardly an authority on international politics." It has been reported that Elon Musk had a direct conversation with Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, before tweeting a proposal to end the war in Ukraine that would have resulted in the territory being permanently given to Russia. Bremmer claims that Musk told him that Putin assured him that these goals would be achieved no matter what, including the possibility of a nuclear war if Ukraine invaded Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014. According to what Bremmer stated, Musk told him everything needs to be done to avoid that outcome. The previous week, Musk made precisely the same arguments on Twitter. However, he did suggest that the referendums in the occupied territories, which Ukraine and the West have criticized as sham polls, should be conducted under the supervision of the United Nations. At the beginning of this year, Musk issued a challenge to Putin to a one-on-one fight and said that he had spoken to Putin via video conference the previous year. However, Musk did not mention this more recent conversation that was reported to have taken place with the Russian president. After Russia invaded Ukraine, he sent his Starlink internet terminals to maintain the country's armed forces in contact with one another, which helped him gain a lot of popularity in that country during the early phases of the conflict. According to what Bremmer wrote, Musk stated that he had turned down a request from the Ukrainian government to activate Starlink in Crimea. As Ukrainian forces continue their counteroffensive into areas previously controlled by Russian forces in the east and northeast of Ukraine, the Financial Times, a publication based in the United Kingdom, reports that the Ukrainian military has been experiencing connectivity troubles. In response, Musk attacked the reporting of the FT, claiming that what it takes place on the battlefield is classified. The Ukrainian government provided a pithy reaction to Musk's Twitter peace proposal. One ambassador ordered him to fuck off, while Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy released his own Twitter poll in response. In the meantime, the Kremlin has expressed its approval of Musk's good plan to bring an end to the conflict, and Russian official media has also referenced his tweets. Musk maintains that he supports Ukraine, but that he is only attempting to avert a nuclear war. That's all for today's video. Do like the video and subscribe to our channel for more updates like this.